Madam Chairwoman, recording has begun and you have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to go ahead and call to order this session of the Design Review Board for December 14th, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First up on our agenda for today is the review and approval of the minutes from the November 9th meeting. Do I have any comments? The only thing that I saw was up at attendance, not that it's a big deal, but it's listed, I'm listed as attendee, alternate. Otherwise, it was fine.
I will find where that is on Civic Web and fix it.
No problem. Okay. We didn't have any, go ahead and I will make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. The minutes from the November 9th meeting have been approved. First up on the agenda for discussion today is the 1014 Washington Avenue, Alpas Wellness.
All right, good morning, Design Review Board members. I'm not going to turn my camera on because I'm looking a little rough this morning. But today we had the proposed detached sign for Alpas Wellness. This would have been an administrative DRB review, and we had started with that, but looking at the proposed signage and the existing building, we wanted to bring this to the DRB for a review and determination because it doesn't quite fit in with the overall scheme of the proposed building as it was originally designed. The applicant is online and I will let them kind of explain the situation. They've provided a explanation because there are proposed facade improvements to the building that they're looking to do. And with that, I will turn it over to either Mr. Simon or Mr. Brent if they have anything to add on that end.
Hi, good morning, Gary Brent. How's everyone? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, great. I'll briefly describe the basic proposed sign. I believe Mr. Simon will be able to weigh in on the design integration with the current interior and exterior building modifications. Essentially, it's a freestanding, internally illuminated 22 square foot monument sign. The lighting will be edge lit letters. So when you look at that face of that sign in the rendering right there, it's only the edge of those letters and that logo that will be illuminated sort of in a halo lighting effect. Again, it's freestanding at the driveway entrance. Don't have much more to add as far as the design integration. I would leave that up to the business owner to discuss that.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Sean Smith. I'm the founder and CEO of Alpas. Thank you for taking a little bit of time to review this document with us. The first thing that comes to mind for me is really about the intention and direction in which we're taking the overall aesthetics of the building. I know in B1, the massing and scaling, it speaks to, I think the exact wording is to create well-proportioned buildings with a coherent architectural concept that exhibits forms and features that reflect the functions contained within the building. I highlighted this because I think it's important. I know we wrote this in our little letter that we drafted over, but to take into consideration the modifications and amendments that we've made interiorly and the direction that we've taken the building. We have that same intent exteriorly. Obviously, we're a bit further out as we progress on what we want to do and what our vision is exteriorly. But as a company, we want to do our best to maintain a softness and slowly modify each portion of the building as we see appropriate. The original building, yes, is what I would call something more traditional, but if you walked inside the building and saw a lot of the biophilic components, the modern / mid-century tenants that we followed with cohesion and fascination and hominess, we're trying to bring the same intent exteriorly. We're going to be proposing softer colors for the exterior of the building. We're looking into possibly changing the colors of the shutters and doing other modifications with the landscaping to try to soften the surrounding topography, but also have a good relationship with the exterior of the building to the interior of the building. For me, this sign, which does not show that there's also a flower bed included in there, it seems appropriate to what our intention is and what the vision is. I think the core tends sort of a rustic old feel with a more of a classic wood. It does match the stone. It plays well off the warm colors in the stone. And then we're going to soften the yellows on the exterior of the building with maybe a warmer white with an underlying maybe taupish beige color or something. I mean, we're still working through that, but the way that I see it and where I see this long term is that the sign seems to align appropriately with the vision of the building and the way that we've started to make adjustments to it.
Do you have any images of actual signage in other locations?
Are you referring to other Alpes properties
Yes.
specifically?
Yes. That would give us instead of a drawing, an actual something to view that's.
Yeah, Sean, I want to speak for, I mean, feel free to interject, but I believe this is going to be the first sign of this, or this is their first project of this scale, and similarly, the detached sign as well.
Okay.
Correct. I mean, we could send you brand decks and stuff that show our general signage, or if you've seen the interior of the building and the signage on the interior, because we have green walls, and then obviously our logo. We do a lot of biophilic designs. Bringing the outside in is a lot of the principles we work off of. Just as a blueprint, and then from there we add in rustic touches, classic touches. We kind of brush on all forms of art.
And unfortunately, it looks like I'm not able to share my screen, but I do have several images we just recently took of the inside of the building that I think will show that form and biophilic aesthetic, more apparently than we just described. But
I'm in the building. I may be able to show, if I can get my video up, I may be able to show.
I don't think anyone outside the town can share, unfortunately, Sean, at least how it's set up currently. But I mean, I'd be happy to share those photos with anyone that would like to look at them.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would say is that, that image there does not represent the flower bed also that goes in there. Honestly, this is just my opinion, what little bit I do know about architecture and aesthetics. I mean, this building is probably more traditional, but I would argue that the core 10 is sort of an old classic feel. It matches the stone. It plays off that copper rustic look, plays off the wood and the stone on the actual building. And then I would argue that the wood itself is just, again, a traditional, timeless material. So for me, I mean, I think even that sign as it stands isn't so off from what the existing building is in terms of the material and in terms of the coloration.
Mr. Simon, I did make you a presenter. Craig, do you mind if he switches over to presenter mode?
Not at all.
Okay,
Huh.
so you should be able to share now.
Thank you, Janine. And Sean, you don't have an issue with me sharing any images that we recently took to you?
No, not at all.
All right, I'm pulling up now. Just let me know when you guys can see it.
We can see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I have probably a dozen or so images here. I'll quickly run through, but here's the main reception that you're greeted as soon as you walk into the building. We made plenty of upgrades in the space, but you can see how we're already integrating some darker woods here. And then this inset recessed moss panel was a custom piece we had built with the logo as well. You can see also we're integrating some warmer, more rustic materials with the terracotta lights. And this is kind of the overall biophilic look and design we carry throughout the building. And again, what Sean was saying, we're trying to bring outside to that sign. Keep going on here. There's another one of the reception. Yeah, here's just our waiting area. Again, bringing in nature with the water feature here, plants. See a lot of plants and warm colors, warm woods throughout the building. Sean, feel free to speak up if there's anything else you want to highlight. But I think this is a good example of us bringing more woods into this space. Here's our main dining area. A lot of warm colors here at play. And I also want to point out that as part of, sorry about that, as part of our biophilic design and moss panel installation we have throughout the building, we are integrating some Core-10 steel in here as well as part of a framing of this moss panel. Of the dining area. Here's a nourishment area again with light fixtures that pendant lights that we installed as part of this project. Stone, earthy look to it. And here's just the back end of that dining area. We'll eventually have some buffet lines that are integrated in here as well. And unfortunately, they won't be in for a few more weeks. But what you'll eventually see is those will be wood paneled as well and matching the wood cabinets that we have installed. And again, just pointing out more moss installations that we have here.
Yeah, and the light fixtures too, David. The light fixtures are changing. They're lights that actually will have plants inside of them.
Yeah, you're right. So these drum lights that you currently see will be replaced with a black light that has sort of a dish at the top of it that will propagate plants out of. I can actually pull up a rendering of that here, but I'll just continue along. I guess I can point out here too as well. You'll start to see artwork that we've begun hanging in the space. That here is a wooded area, again bringing warmth and nature into the building. Here's just the other side of the dining area. You can even see the furniture, a lot of woods integrated. Okay, and then here's probably the other more prominent space that we have. Here's our nurse stations that we have 6 of these throughout the resident corridors in the building. These are all new casework here that we have with the wood bases, casework in the back as well. And then each nurse station has its own moss panel hung on the walls and custom made for the project. Right, here's a look at the bedrooms, coloration, similarly warm, adding some texture into the space. Also point out that as part of the biophilic design, we've added these planters to propagate plants outside of each room and complementing the sconce and the signage that we've added as part of the project. It's just a look from the inside of the room. Some upgrades we made to the shower fixtures. Here's just another look from a different angle of the nurse station. You can see the artwork getting integrated and some furniture we have as well in here for some group therapy sessions, as well as kind of talk to the hominess and getting playful and cozy with different colorations of these pendant lights that we have integrated, as well as complementing off the artwork we have. I think this is sort of wrapping it up here. Here's a community space that we have up on the second and third floor. Again, a lot of woods being integrated, some playfulness with our light fixtures, and as well as within the furniture and the coffee table here as well.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Mr. Simon. And that's where I'll
pleasure.
point out now that staff didn't have any issues with the signage itself. We wanted to bring it to the design review board because of the fact that it, it does deviate a little bit from the building design as stated in the DRB guidelines, but that the signage, as if approved today, would kind of lead to the building upgrades as they move forward, the facade upgrades as they move forward. So that's why we wanted to bring it to the DRB. And we do recommend approval with the kind of condition that the facade improvements, kind of match the signage, and that we would bring that back to the DRB so you could see that as part of this package.
Is that not putting the
Thank
cart
you.
before the horse?
Hello. I'd like to say something. I think this is beautifully done and very well presented. Thank you for showing us the pictures of the interior. This sign, I think it looks wonderful. It's modern. It's clean. Some neat materials. I like to. I mean, not that we're reviewing the interiors, but I think they're very successfully done. And I'm excited to see how that translates onto an exterior application. So I have no issue at all with approving the sign as it's presented. I think it's beautiful.
And
I think
to
it's an
your
improvement from the exterior of the building as it is now. Very much so.
staff agrees with that, and that's why we wanted to bring this forward. And to your point, Mrs. Mudd, basically when you're looking at the design, it's based on different aspects. So if we're approving the signage with this kind of design criteria, then that would need to translate into the building and vice versa. So it's not that they're putting the cart before the horse. It's just a matter of timing and making sure that everything fits together once they're ready to open.
So then they will have to come back to us once again for the approval. It just seems like we're putting a lot of more work on their part instead of doing it all at one time. That's like they have to come back again and again. That's all. I was just thinking.
Well, if they're using colors that are part of the approved color list, or if it's in compliance with the design guidelines, they technically wouldn't need DRB approval, but we would bring that back so you could see it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, and I would think, Sean, I believe the kind of softening of the exterior hardy board there with the off-white or a taupe, as you said earlier, we intend to pick a color that's within the guidelines and the palette that's presented by the DRB guidelines.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
we would absolutely that range, and it's just softening the building. It feels a little loud. I mean, it's just the idea is to just sort of soften it as best as we can with what's existing.
Make the yellow go away.
Yes. So yeah, that's why we're bringing the signage to you, so we can kind of get that overall, you're okay with moving forward in this direction. And then it would be an administrative DRB review for the color changes to the exterior. But we would let you see it and have, you guys take a look at that once it's ready.
We appreciate that. All right. Well, I am going to put a motion forward to approve the design of the sign as presented. Do I have a second? Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The design and the sign package for Alpes Wellness has been approved as presented to the design review board.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you all.
Great. Next on the agenda is the tentative meeting schedule for 2023.
Okay, so I put this together following in line with previous years. It's the first Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m. I didn't see any holiday conflicts or any major conflicts with the dates that came up on the calendar. So I just wanted to present this and see if there was any issues that the board noticed before we finalize this and publish it.
I did not notice any date conflicts, except I can tell you I will not be attending the January meeting. But otherwise, it looks good to me. Do we need to motion to approve this? Just questioning.
I think we have in the past. We're officially
Okay,
consensus to move forward with it.
no problem. I motion to approve the 2023 meeting schedule for the Design Review Board.
I'll second.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right, thank you. 2023 meeting schedule has been approved. Right. Other business, planning department updates.
So I just have a few updates for you. We did do an administrative DRB review for the 6365 Crane Highway signage for the Splash-In project. It did comply with the design guidelines and we did approve that. And then just update you on some of our priorities that we're working on. We resubmitted our sustainable community application. They came back with a couple comments, but otherwise we are looking to expand our sustainable community area, so that way we could open up more areas to funding, grant opportunities and improvements. So we'll continue working with the Department of Community or Housing and Community Development to finalize that. And then we will bring that back to the Council Planning Commission and DRB so you can see the revised sustainable communities boundary, and also just kind of look at some of the opportunities that are available with that designation. And then we're still working through code revisions. It's been a little hard with the planning department being a little bit short-staffed. And then of course we have all the fun holiday illnesses rolling around, but we are planning on having a preliminary discussion on our adequate public facilities ordinance with the planning commission on sorry, I put the wrong date, on January 3rd. We are working with Mead and Hunt Incorporated to draft the traffic impact study section. This will also look at water and sewer allocations and school seat allocations. So that'll hopefully start moving that process forward. And then just for the DRB, I know we look a lot at the building facade, but in the past, we've noted that there's updates that are needed to our streets and sidewalks to kind of look at complete streets. And then we have our sign ordinance that we're still trying to get feedback from the La Plata Business Association so we can move forward with that, and a few others. But with that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. I will point out that Debbie Simpson was our admin, and she has been promoted to planning technician. And she's been doing a great job helping me with signs and DRB. So I want to welcome her onto the DRB train. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have for me.
All right. Thank you, Janine, and we hope that you feel better.
Thank you.
Great. Next on our agenda is councilman updates. Maybe. Councilman Goldsmith. Okay. Let's see if he's on here, but I'm not answering. All right,
All right, now I'm
There.
in. Can you hear me now?
there he is. I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. These mechanical things get me. Anyway, we had our town council meeting last night. That was the only one we're going to have for this month. Several items came out of that particular meeting. One, we are going to pursue a speed photo enhancement program. Initially, we will probably looking at 4 speed cameras. They have to be within a mile of a school, and the chief of police, Chief Center, is proposing various locations, and they can be moved around as well. The intent is that there would be actually safety enhancement as far as making people aware where the cameras are and slowing down. It is not a money-making proposition. In fact, our hope is that we would actually be break even. That was the intent behind it. They also, for the police department, they asked to purchase a utility pickup truck to haul all the various trailers and lighting and cameras and stuff that they have now part of the police department. And we approved that as well. It was a used one. And then the last thing was for Public Works, as far as the Mary Ball Sanitary Pump Station, actually upgrading one of them and keeping the other one. And have 2 pumps there, one to go towards 301 and one to come towards the Heritage Green development. And in the earlier of November, we actually had 2 annexations, one for the hub, which you've heard of before, and one for the Hawthorne Yards was annexed as well. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I am going to wish everyone a happy holiday season and make a motion to adjourn this session of the Design Review Board meeting.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Great. That is a wrap for 2022, everybody.
Enjoy your
Thank you
Merry
holidays.
so
Christmas.
much.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Happy
your
holidays.
holidays.
Okay, bye-bye.
Aye.